Looking for all the latest tips, tricks, updates of what's going on in the recruiting industry, check out the Digital Recruiter Sunday night newsletter. I am not here to blow up your inbox. I don't have enough time to create an email every single day. I once a week send you impactful, a big thing that I've learned this week or realized from working with hundreds of recruiters, owning an agency myself. I'm in the trenches every day like you are, and I'm sharing everything that I'm seeing every Sunday, from content, from automation, from how to get better clients, how to find candidates quicker, how to grow your team, how to hire people, everything in between. The link is in the comments. Sign up today, or you can go to my LinkedIn profile, Clark Wilcox. It's the first link on my featured section. You can sign up there. It's all free. So you get all the tips, everything that you need, free in your inbox every Sunday night. Sign up today.
All right, welcome back. We're at ERE again in Vegas, as we have been all week, and we've just been killing it with the lineup of guests. And I got another. We got our main sponsor. What do you got? You call what's the gold sponsor?
The gold
The
sponsor.
gold
Yeah.
sponsor. Excuse me. Pin.com, one of their newest employees officially. Hi. And I got Jacob Price here. He's the head of customer success at Pin.com. I've just been learning about Pin this week. And I already booked a demo to talk to them in a couple of weeks. I'm talking to Connor, which I'm super excited about. But Jacob, thanks for being here, man.
Yeah, it's good to be here.
Yeah. So I guess give us the breakdown. What is Pin.com? Excuse me.
Yeah, Pin.com. So we are a top of funnel recruiting sourcing AI tool. So basically, you give us the job that you're working on. So you just basically just give us the title, the job rec. We show you candidates. That's the long and short of it.
Okay, so that's the top of funnel explanation.
Yeah,
we go
yeah.
medium of funnel. Where do you leverage? You leverage LinkedIn, email, SMS, rotary phones. Like where's all this going? Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So I think probably like a little history lesson. So we used to be, all of us used to work over at Interstellar, a company that was founded in 2016, basically on the idea that we could sit on top of your LinkedIn profiles and bring them into your ATS and then send out emails on your behalf.
Yeah.
That product was really good. What it did for until we sold it to Greenhouse in 2021. And then we all slowly basically ran away from Greenhouse.
Yeah.
That's a bad way of saying it, but we all slowly got away from Greenhouse and recoalesced. And we basically said, we're not actually solving the problem. And the problem is that everybody feels like they're just like completely tied and handcuffed to their LinkedIn recruiter accounts. And we're like, okay, so how do we solve that problem? We went back to the same VC and we said, hey, give us a ton of money so that we can just invest in all the data we can possibly find. And so we built this gigantic data layer of profiles that is constantly being updated. And then said, okay, what if we layered AI on top of that, allowing you to search through that for actually who you're looking for? So you're no longer limited by really rigid Boolean searches. You're no longer limited by, how closely connected you are to somebody. You say, this is what I'm looking for. And we say, cool, this is the best possible pool of candidates.
Yeah.
And then from there, it's the same thing as what we did with Interstellar. You say you like somebody, we find all their contact information, we send out automated emails, connection requests, in-mails, texting is like a semi-automation.
Yeah.
All that kind of project management stuff is just kind of until you get to the phone call, that's completely taken care of by us.
That's great. So and I know majority of your clients right now, I feel like, I know you work with recruiting agencies, you work with corporate teams as well. What are some your things that you love about Pin that you're like, these people got to know what it can do, like some of the transformational stuff?
Yeah. I learn new things about Pin every day, right? So the kind of table stakes stuff is we find you good people, right? But the cool stuff is we give you the AI summary of what the person did what the person's done in their career compared exactly side by side to the things you're actually looking for. So you instead of having to do this like really deep dive on a person, look through their entire profile, look through their resume. We just say like, oh, you were looking for someone with this certification that has this many experience in this industry that like did this thing. Here's the AI summary just telling you exactly what they did. And like one of the things that I recently learned is we have this button that allows you to create a AI email sequence. And I just learned that actually reads the emails that you're putting into Pin. So like when you give us your initial email templates and then when you're answering emails through our portal, it figures out what your tone of voice is, the way that you talk. And then when you hit generate AI sequence in a later sequence, it matches your tone and matches the way that you speak.
That's pretty sweet.
It's cool.
I mean, you kind of eliminate, like, we've been talking about building ChatGPT models and everything else, like, which, we've done, internally at Digital Recruiter for a while, but it basically just saying, like, if you actually use your ATS, top of funnel, your system consistently, you just have to get better at the messaging.
Yeah.
And then as you get better at it, this is going to get better. And so is that kind of like, because that's what we were talking about a little bit offline is, like, what are some of the friction, like, the people that get the most out of Pin, what are you seeing that they're doing differently?
The people that get the most out of Pin are really good at two things. They're really good at training the AI brain to show them what they want, right? People often think that AI is this sort of silver bullet. You say like, here's your job description, show me people. But if your job description sucks, the output's going to suck.
Amen.
Right?
Yeah.
So what people who are really good at kind of training the model say is like, okay, here's the assumption. Here's like the one or two assumptions that the AI made that is just wrong because it's a brain. And I'm going to re-enter this stuff to fix the bad assumptions and turn them into good assumptions. And then they get presented with the people they want. And then there are people who are really thoughtful about the way they do their messaging. And I'd say that the majority of the calls that I do in customer success are training people how to train the AI and training people how to not suck at messaging.
I'm glad we met because that's the same problem I solve. I mean, and that's why I was cool. I mean, for the Jake and I met less than an hour ago. We got a quick introduction and we're just like, oh, we speak the same language. We're coming over here and we're recording. So it is interesting that of all the tech, right? And that's why when you guys were just giving me the breakdown on Pin, I'm like, well, you guys get the real problem, which is like the tech is great. That's the big problem. You can throw money at it, get the data. That's awesome. But it's really two parts and there is two phases to this. It's like, great, we have everything. Now let's make you better. Get your job. Let's upskill you around the tech. And like the tech leverage your upskilling.
Yeah, for sure. And I'm sure that you notice this from like all the communications that you do is that, even before AI, what works in like the worlds of email templates and email automation, that changes every, call it 6 months.
Right? Less maybe. It's crazy.
Yeah, exactly. And I think like ultimately like what it comes down to is like, are you able to put yourself in the shoes of the people that you're actually trying to get to do whatever? You're trying to sell them something, you're trying to recruit them, right? You're trying to convince them that, to come on a podcast, right? Like all that stuff comes down to like, would I answer the emails that I'm actually sending out there? And you'd be shocked at how many people are like, no, this looks like spam to me. I'm like, well, then why are you sending it to 10,000 people? Like
that's, I mean, speaking my language, man. Like that's it. Like it's, the example that I was talking about earlier was I had a client onboarding call, or not onboarding. I was sending them some automation on Monday. And they were looking at their message. It was like, hey, thanks for connecting. We do this. Meanwhile, their headline was right above the message saying the same thing. We do this. So your headline and your message is like redundant right there. And he was actually sending that as a personalized message. He wasn't automating it. But it looked automated. So that's what I'm starting to see is there's a lot of people trying to do more messaging and like they craft this, but I always say like your LinkedIn profile is your connection message because you shouldn't have to say anything in a connection message, at least for business development on the agency side. For candidate sourcing, you definitely want a message because you want to tease the job and know what you have in mind for them. But for the business development, like your LinkedIn profile should be a landing page because then your messaging doesn't have to carry as much of the weight. You can be you can be shorter, you can be concise. You don't waste words that are already on your LinkedIn profile. The worst thing to do in messaging is to be redundant.
And that's sort of why a lot of people will come to me and say like, here's my email messaging or here's my connection messaging. And then they just copy and paste that into email. Right. And it's you see it all the time. And what you just said is why LinkedIn messaging doesn't work in email, right? You send somebody an email, the first action they take is they go to their profile and they say, okay, what's this guy
Who is
about?
this? Well, you don't have that on email.
No, they have nothing, right? You have the email signature, but it's still like you're clicking through and you're basically going down the signature. It's your redirection to another page. And as soon as somebody is doing that inside of your email, you kind of already lost the game because they've ignored your call to action.
Yes. Brilliant. So what do you recommend? What are you seeing some of like the tips, like when you go from LinkedIn to email, that people should be looking at and considering?
I think that like really it should all just add up to a narrative for why somebody wants to talk to you, right? Like the biggest mistakes I see is being really verbose and ultimately that's like trying to sell everything inside of an email or an in-mail, right? When all you need is one or two salient points for why somebody would want to get on the phone with you. Because once you change your mindset from I need to be selling or recruiting or getting this person to the end goal to I just need this person to talk to me for 15 minutes, everything opens up for you.
Kindred spirits, man. I'm telling you, we're gonna connect. You can see, like, this is all I talk about. It's just like, you stop trying to sell in a message.
Yeah.
And stop trying to close a deal in a message.
Yeah.
Because we all get hit up on, and I got spam text today. I got spam emails already today. I got spam LinkedIn. I think I got people to offer me a job at a cath lab, which I don't even know what that is.
Yeah.
And like, there's also crazy like in my phone, but like, if people are just short and concise and relevant, like, I'll respond.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, okay, yeah, like, that's interesting. Like, tell me more. Like, let's book, or, hey, like, maybe not right now, or like, this isn't like time, but like, we can talk in 3 months or whatever else.
Sure.
Like, the soft CTA of just like, you're just trying to get people to bubble up to the surface. Because when you have the power of AI and automation, then you get up to way more people than you were able to 20 years ago. The whole thing is not to spam people to 20 extra spam or 200 extra spam, right? Or a cold call pitch. It's like, wait, what strategically can I change now? And I always say, like, it's the hunter and the gatherer analogy, right? Some people are used to hunting, but I'm like, and the farming. What you want to do is farm at scale. And then the people that reveal themselves with signals, that's who you hunt.
Yeah.
And that's the way to leverage automation in the AI. Like, you have like you can cast the wide net, and whoever raises their hand within that pool, that's who you double down on and kind of follow up with until you kind of get like a yes or a no.
And it's funny you say that because, you know, people often categorize themselves as like, I'm a hunter or I'm a gatherer. I'm really good at this and this thing doesn't work. And ultimately, like all these channels do work for some pocket of people. So when you say like cold calling works and email is dead,
it all works.
That means, yeah, you're bad at email and you're good at cold calling,
exactly.
right?
That's exactly it, man. Exactly it.
So yeah, what I try to tell people is like, you can be a hunter and a gatherer, and people who are good at outbound are good at both of those things.
Yep. Yeah. It's, I mean, be speaking my language. It's like, I was never the best at cold call. I did it. I got business from it and everything else. My whole goal was like, what if I could build a business where I didn't have to cold call? And like, that was more of what I reverse engineered. Because I never asked, like, I know one of these channels can work.
Yeah.
It's just, I was just like really looking at what are my strategic advantages. It's like, I could write how I talk if for some reason that resonated with people.
Yeah.
And I was like decent enough with some automation tools that I could build the ecosystem. I wasn't spamming the messaging.
Yeah.
But then the content drove a ton of conversations. So I was like,
Sure.
well, I'm just going to double down on LinkedIn because that's where I have a feed where I can post, right? And then just build that ecosystem on LinkedIn. And it just worked for me.
And for you, that makes sense, right?
Yeah.
Because you have this kind of digital presence. People will go to your LinkedIn profile and be like, okay, cool. I know you are. Right?
Yeah. It's like, and that's either like, I'm all in or I want to learn more, or it's like, no, like digital recruiter doesn't know anything. I'm like, I'm good either way.
Yeah.
People can self-select in or out.
Yeah.
Right. And that's the opportunity, right? You kind of give people at scale. I mean, same thing like sourcing. Right? It's not like I have the perfect job for you or it's like, hey, I think you might be a potential fit, right?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. You tell me this is it. Is this like, sound like a better jump for you or like not, right?
And that kind of soft messaging has been working really well for us. And honestly, the easiest recommendation that I give somebody if I'm like on call 12 and I'm like, I can't do the whole spiel right now. The number one thing I'm telling people is like, your first email, everybody wants to say like, do you have time for, a 15-minute call? Totally fine call to action. If that's your only call to action, right? Like you're not appealing to the entire demographic.
You're leaving so much at the table. Yeah.
And so what I tell people is the second email, do something softer, right? So if you're trying to recruit somebody for a job, say, I've got a full job description available. Do you want me to send it over? That's super easy, right? Because somebody who's like on the subway after work and they're exhausted, but like maybe they'll take a look at it. They just have to say yes.
Sure.
And now you've established a dialogue. And the same thing on the other side of the ball, right? You're a recruiter, you're doing BD. Every recruiter's heard of NPC, right? Like your most placeable candidate, right? You send over, as soon as you send over the resume, you sort of lost your big chess piece, right? So instead, just say like, here's like 4 bullets about the person that I'm presenting to you, right? Ask for you got time for a 15-minute call. Next email, 4 different bullets, and say like, I've got a full redacted resume for you. You want to just look at that, right? Again, the answer is yes or no. It's really easy.
You get people to raise their hand.
Yeah, exactly.
That's it. It's like like I have like the LinkedIn free course, and instead of you like, hey, let me like, here it is. I was like, let me know if you want me to send the link your way.
Yeah.
And then people will say yes. Some people say no that are recruiters, and I look at their LinkedIn, they did nothing with their LinkedIn. So I'm very confused as to why they're saying no through a free LinkedIn course when they have nothing in their about section filled out and they're a recruiter. Doesn't make any sense to me, but that's a whole other conversation. But even that, I've been saying like, that's market research for me. Why would a recruiter that doesn't utilize our LinkedIn say no when I know they do executive search and I know their market's on LinkedIn?
Yeah.
That's another piece of content for me. So like when you try to encourage a behavior and an action versus just like trying to sell, you learn so much about your buying behavior and intent. And I'm like, well, what are the obstacles? Is it because there's a bunch of trainers or whatever, maybe spamming them? Maybe they worked with that and they're like worried I'm going to just like pitch them all day and stuff like that. And like nothing's free and stuff like that. I'm like, you're right. I'm going to give you a ton of really good tips. And at the end of that, I'm like, if you want to learn more, book a call with us.
Yeah.
Like that's it. Like, it's not like this crazy, like anything else, but it's just interesting when you can get responses. You learn so much to be able to iterate and improve your own process versus I see so many people burn through leads. They never get any replies. And it's such a wasted opportunity.
Yeah.
But that soft CTA, like just teasing it out, like you just have to have a little bit of patience.
Yeah.
With it and just kind of play the long game, right?
And you have to look at what's working, what's not working for you, right? Like if you're using automation software, you should look at every one of your steps and say like, okay, step 1 got me 3% responses. Step 2 got me 10% responses. Step 3 got me 0.
Yeah.
What's wrong with step 3? What's wrong with step 1? Right.
Yeah.
Like, and what you're saying is, the strategy, that's a strategy I tell people all the time. It's like, give something away for free, right? Because now all of a sudden they've gotten something useful. You're no longer like the spam nether world, right? Like you're somebody that they got some value out of. So they're more likely to respond to you.
Exactly.
And you're a person to them now.
Value at scale, conversations at scale, like that's how to be thinking about this thing when there's a lot of AI and everything else. And, there's been a little bit of like, we can get replaced on that. But like, if you generate conversations at scale and you interact with your market and you leverage these tools, you're going to have the networking effect. You're going to be better at your job, more productive. But the people that can balance that line of improving at messaging and I have a pulse on the market and I'm leveraging tech.
Yeah.
Well, like Pin.com, and I can be an advocate and all that. Like, those are the recruiters that are going to stick around.
Yeah.
They're going to be here for the long game.
Yeah.
Right. So, as we kind of like, I know we got we could probably talk for a whole hour. So to be perfectly honest,
probably.
And I know I'm supposed to keep these like 15 to 20 minutes here, but Ben hasn't said I have to shut this down yet. I think he's over there playing his video game.
Yeah.
So,
no, we got how much more time until bowling? We got
we got a little time to
time.
Yeah. But I want to get like, how did you? I'm just curious to get a little bit back for like, how did you get into this space?
Honestly, I took a leap of faith with Steve.
Yeah.
Which
is CEO.
CEO, sorry.
Yeah.
CEO and one of my best friends from high school.
Yeah.
And,
super cool.
Yeah. And so I was working at a sports registration technology company called League Apps, and that's actually like the company that I brought Connor in to work with me.
Shout out UMass Amherst sport management, Eisenberg grad as well.
Exactly. He was saying, you're never gonna believe who I met. Like somebody from my sports management program.
It was like crazy. I literally haven't met anyone in the wild from that program.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's cool.
Yeah. But that company, I ended up getting let go. I was sort of like a burnt out CSM at like my time at that company had kind of like come and gone, and I was sort of floating in the wind. I didn't really know what I needed to do. I'm like 25, 26 at this point, and Steve sends me a message. He's like, hey, I know you did a lot of customer success stuff. Do you want to build customer success at this company that I started? And I was like, yeah, sure. He's like, okay, but caveat, actually, we don't have enough customers yet. So you have to do sales, and then once we have enough customers to justify you being customer success, then we'll transition you over.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, deal.
Yeah.
Fine. You know, like, what else is I gonna do?
Yeah.
And it ended up being sort of just this leap of faith, like best decision I could have made, because he taught me everything he knew about the space. I got to talk to recruiters literally from day one, because startup life,
Yeah.
you learn on the job.
You just got to get to know your market. Yeah.
And I've just been kind of plugged into the recruiting market, and especially through the lens of helping people get better email automation for the past 6-7 years.
We're going to have a lot more to talk about. And it's
Yeah.
super cool backstory. I mean, I think it's just such a tell of like just network and always keep those channels of communication open. There's, I think even for some people that are looking for jobs and everything, like, yes, there's auto apply, yes, everything else, but like tap into your network, like let people know like kind of where you're at, what you've learned in the market and everything else. Like have those conversations because you never know what could happen.
Yeah.
You know, like it's just like, that's kind of like is how it is. And like, yeah, there's, I forget all that stuff, but like just you have to know what the people that you grew up with, you went to school with, all that, like, what are they doing? What do they learn? Because I talk to people now that didn't knew me in 2020, a lot has changed in 5 years, right? And like, you never know. Like, so that's a great way to kind of tap into and not necessarily like ask for anything, right? But just like check in with people and like see what's up and like catch up and like just like exchange like what you guys have been up to.
Yeah.
Like, you never know what that could lead to.
I haven't gotten a job through like a regular sort of like application portal since my first job out of college.
Same here.
Right? I just like, I just know people and you know, bet on myself, right? Like fortune favors the bold, and especially in the US economy, right? Like everybody here loves people who are willing to bet on themselves. So like, why wouldn't you?
That's it. That's it, man. Well, dude, Jacob, thanks for coming on, man.
Yeah.
It's awesome to meet you. I know we're going to talk more. We definitely should like, I feel like we should do like webinars or like LinkedIn lives or like a content workshop.
I'm down
like,
for all of it.
I think we'd have a great time doing that. So,
Yeah.
We'll talk offline. We'll make that happen. But Jacob Price with pin.com, head of customer success. Make sure to connect with him on LinkedIn. Follow, check out Pin, book a demo.
Yeah.
Like, I'll get your show. Like, I already booked a demo. There's no pressure to buy anything. Like, just like see what's up, because as recruiters, we should always be demoing like everything that we can, understanding it. I could tell these guys actually walk the walk, like know what they're talking about. So if you got value from this, like, subscribe, 5 stars, all that good stuff. Connect to Jacob. Until next time, happy hunting, y'all.